This thing looking kind of crispy. You guys like my cup? I think it's time I talk about the elephant in the room, as they say, right? The elephant in the room. 120 hertz. The problem child. The problem child. Yeah, it's not working for a lot of people, right? It's not working for me. It's not working for maybe you. You're looking at this video. You're looking this up because it doesn't work for you. I made a video using mouse and keyboard on the PS5, and I made the mistake of including the word hertz in there. So I talked about how 60 hertz on the PS5 didn't feel like 60 hertz on the computer. And that was my main point across. That if you play 60 hertz on a PC, it wasn't feeling the same as it was on the PS5. Right? That's what I was trying to say. But I was also saying that there was a little bit of input lag and there was a little bit of latency. Maybe some mouse smoothing, and it wasn't allowing for the, best experience. But the two don't correlate. And I'm aware, a lot of you guys pointed this out. Input lag and refresh rate are two completely different things. Destiny 1, for a long time, it's one of my most played games on PS4. And that game runs in 30 frames. It refreshes at 30 frames. That doesn't mean that you're gonna get input delay. I know that. That means that it's just not gonna run as smooth because you're not getting that higher frame rate. So you can have a 30 frame game and still have zero whatever milliseconds of input delay or input lag. That means when you press the button, it happens that quick. And that has nothing to do with the refresh rate. I currently play my PC at 165 hertz, right? On this monitor that I'm about to show you guys the back of this monitor so you can further understand a couple of things. My monitor lets me select what refresh rate I want to use on specific ports, right? On PC. The PS5 doesn't let you do that. You plug your HDMI in. HDMI 2.1. This is the HDMI that the PS5 comes with. So the main problem is there's no manual way of telling your PlayStation that your monitor supports 120 hertz. It just automatically does everything on its own, and if it can't detect it, or if it has a problem detecting it, or if there's a software issue within the monitor, or something internally is happening there that isn't letting your PS5 register your monitor as a 120 hertz panel, and that's why people are having this issue, right? So I am having this issue. HDMI 2.0. This is the slot you need if you want to run games in higher refresh rate on a HDMI cable. DisplayPort outputs higher refresh rate than HDMI, right? So on this, if I want to play 165 hertz on my PC, I plug into this one. And then the HDMI 2.0 only goes up to, I think, 144 or 120. I don't remember which one, so don't get angry. This HDMI right here is my PC HDMI, right? I'm gonna plug it in to that HDMI 2 slot. Okay. The PC is plugged into the 2.0 slot now, right? These are PC settings on the control panel. This is the HDMI slot. It lets you select what you want that to output as, and it has, for HDMI, it goes up to 144. Like I said before, if I was using DisplayPort, it would show the 165. I already applied it and everything, and I know that it's working because I can just see it by moving the cursor. But if I press my monitor's menu on the top, right? Let it focus. It tells you, and apparently I'm missing a hertz, right? 119 hertz. I don't know if that 1 hertz really means that I'm not running at 120 hertz, and if that's why, but I mean, that's up for discussion as well. If I set it to 144 hertz and apply and hit the monitor's settings, it also shows us that I'm running at 144 hertz. Right now we're on the PC, right? And you see what it says, 119, it said 144. You would think that since it's outputting at 119, 120, or even higher, that the PS5 would just be able to pick it up, right? I'm gonna plug in the PlayStation to the back of this monitor. So the PS5 is turning on, and then over here, we're just gonna wait until it pops up. We're in now, and you're gonna see, I'm gonna show you guys what happens. So, same slot, cable that the console comes with, and if we go right here, we know that we're outputting in 1920 by 1080 and 60 hertz. So if we go to settings, and we go to screen, and video output, 1920 by 1080. If you don't have a game that runs 120 open and the setting is on, then the UI is automatically gonna just say that it's running in 60 hertz. Performance mode is on. I'm on the PS5 cable. Performance mode is on. I disabled ray tracing. I'm using the HDMI 2.0 slot. I'm using the cable the console came with. And if we go to 120 hertz refresh rate, it just says it's grayed out and it says it's disabled. Like there's nothing. And then if I hit this, it still says we're in 60 hertz. When I was in the settings, the other interesting thing was when I was in these settings, right? And we go to sound and screen, normally down here where it says information for the connected HDMI, normally it would tell you here more information than just HDR not supported. It would, if you're on a TV, it'll tell you like the TV's possible settings, the maximum refresh rate it can run at. This doesn't tell me anything. So what I'm understanding is the PS5 can't detect anything that's coming out of this monitor, and it's just automatically setting it to 60 hertz because it just doesn't know. Unless there's a way later on for them to detect more displays and support more displays automatically, then the best solution for this would be to just allow us to select the 120 hertz option. It's not doing it on its own, so it's not going to work for me, it's not going to work for a lot of people that might have a monitor capable of 120 hertz, but if the PS5 can't read the information coming from the monitor, then it's just not going to work. So we have all these options for resolution and refresh rate just locked behind the PS5, automatically determining what's the best setting or what it supports and what it doesn't support. If I were you guys, I would just wait a little bit to see what happens. Maybe in the future they'll allow us to select our output resolution or output refresh rate. The last thing you want is for them to tell you, oh, your old screen works again, and then you have now you have a situation where either you gave up an old monitor because it wasn't supported and you got this other one, or you end up with two monitors and you just spent extra money when you didn't need to. For me personally, I don't mind the issue as much just because I have a computer, and if I want high refresh rate games, I'm going to play them on the computer. The primary reason for me getting a PS5 in the first place is because my computer can't output 4K resolution, and I don't have a monitor capable of outputting 4K resolution. But in the living room, I have a TV that is 4K, and now the PS5 supports 4K and 60 frames. So I can play 60 frame 4K games over there, and I can play my higher refresh rate, more performance-based games on my computer. The monitor that we just tested these things on is relatively new, and I purposely didn't buy a 1440 or 4K monitor this year because I feel like we're in a weird transition phase right now with resolution and refresh rate, right? To get a TV that runs 120 hertz is a ridiculous amount of money, and then to get a 4K monitor, you either can't find them or they're also just a lot of money. So I settled for a 165 1080p monitor because I know that my computer is not capable of 4K, and I knew that I wasn't going to really rely on the PS5 for performance. I mainly got this 165 Hz monitor for my PC that goes over 120 Hz and over, certain frame rates and certain games. I will still play my PS5 on this 60 Hz setup over here just because it's easier for recording, and sometimes I just want to sit closer and play on a monitor. I will be playing certain games that are going to look great in 4K and run at 60 frames on the TV just because my monitor can't do that. It can't run 4K and it can't run 4K 60. So if you're having a problem with the 120 Hz thing and you've tried everything in the book to get it to work, it's probably not something you're doing wrong. It's just that your monitor is not supported at the moment, or the PS5 is not getting enough information from your monitor to tell it to run the game or to run the system in 120 Hz. I wouldn't feel too bad about it right now because the only games that can support 120 Hz anyway are Call of Duty and Dirt 5. I'm sure other games will get updates to 120 Hz. I know that Rocket League got an update on Xbox to run at 120, and I think Warzone got an update on Xbox to run at 120. I'm sure we'll see some updates come out later on, either supporting 1440, either supporting more monitors or allowing us to select the refresh rate for our games or for our monitors. Things are still really new, and I'm sure they'll put out updates. More games will get support to 120 Hz because the console, like I said, is definitely capable of running Rocket League at over 60 frames, Fortnite at over 60 frames. I read the comments, I changed all the settings. I know you guys think it's as simple as you plug this into a 144 Hz screen and it's just supposed to work. That's what we all thought, but you know, apparently it's deeper than that, and until they give us more privileges or access to changing things, if we ever do get that, then we're stuck with whatever the PS5 decides. I mean, it's cool to have the best performance and the best everything and whatever. I'm tired of people looking for all the technicalities and things. Like, I feel like people are playing games more for the graphics and performance right now than for the actual enjoyment of playing a game. So if you're getting a next-gen console, if you're getting a PS5 or an Xbox, just enjoy the games. I'm pretty tired of people looking for all the technicalities and things wrong with everything. Not everything's about power, right? There's a controversial clip right now of FaZe Banks, walking out of a restaurant or wherever he was, and they ask him about the PS5, and he just says, listen, just stack your bread and build yourself a rig that will fly you to the moon. If you're looking for a limitless, powerful, performance-filled gaming experience, just build a PC. Like, you're wasting your time and your money sitting here debating if you want a PS5 or an Xbox. Just get a PC. Now, if you already have a PC and you got different uses for a PS5 or an Xbox, then these are things you got to think about. But that's it for me. Stop taking the fun out of the games.